Have you ever stood in your closet, touching the same safe sweater again, then paused and thought, is this really me? Or just what I've gotten used to? Not what brings you joy, just what doesn't draw attention. I know that quiet ache. After 60, we don't just dress to cover up. We dress to protect, to shrink a little. But what if changing one outfit could lift your posture, bring light back to your face, remind you that you are still here, still vibrant, still beautiful? Last Saturday, I met Diane at the Saturday Farmers Market in Portland. She's 72, a retired librarian, sharp as ever, but hidden under a stretched-out black tee and heavy jeans that hadn't fit properly since the Bush administration. She smiled when I complimented her earrings, then sighed and said, I used to love dressing up. Now it just feels pointless. But it's not pointless. It's powerful. The right pieces don't make us look young. They remind us that we're not done being seen. So today, over this cup of tea, let me gently walk you through 6 outfits we often wear without thinking, and 6 kinder, more graceful choices that can help you feel like yourself again. Let's begin with the first one, the pieces that hide more than just our shape. 1. Covered, but not seen. Do you remember the first time you reached for something oversized? Not because you loved it, but because you hoped it would make you disappear just a little? Loose, shapeless clothes may feel like comfort, but when they lack intention, they quietly erase us. The secret isn't tightness, it's structure with softness. Choosing pieces that gently follow your silhouette rather than drown it can bring back a sense of presence, not pressure. Last month at my book club in Asheville, one of the loveliest women I know, Miriam, 66, retired nurse, came in wrapped in a charcoal gray cardigan that reached her knees and wide-legged pants that seemed 2 sizes too big. After our discussion on the secret life of bees, she leaned toward me and said, I feel invisible lately, like I just fade into the couch cushions. I looked at her and said gently, You're not invisible. But your outfit doesn't know that yet. So many of us reach for oversized sweaters and flowy layers, thinking they hide what we no longer want seen. Our soft arms, shifting waistlines, the body we've quietly grieved. But the truth is, those pieces can send a message. I'm retreating. And I've learned, through many winters of hiding under chunky knits, that retreating isn't the same as resting. One leaves you out of sight. The other brings you back to yourself. I remember the first time I swapped my old slouchy pullover for a soft A-line tunic that gently curved at the waist. It wasn't dramatic, but when I caught my reflection, I saw me. Not younger, not thinner, just more present. It was like finding a mirror I hadn't looked into properly in years. Disappearing into fabric won't protect your heart. Showing up with softness will. Let's move on to the second quiet mistake, one we often hold on to out of habit and nostalgia. Prints that speak louder than we do. When was the last time an outfit made you feel seen? Not just covered? I'd love to know. I'd love. 2. Loud prints, quiet woman. Has there ever been a moment you caught your reflection and thought, this blouse is saying more than I meant to? There's something about bold, busy prints, florals that shout, patterns that clash, colors that wear us instead of the other way around. Many of us hold on to them, thinking they add cheer or energy. But when the print takes over the presence, it can make us feel like a backdrop in our own outfit. I once visited my neighbor, Trish, for her grandson's graduation party. She wore a top covered in tiny sunflowers, pink daisies, and green vines. From a distance, it looked cheerful. But when we sat for coffee the next morning, she sighed and said, "I look like the tablecloth." We both laughed, gently. But behind her joke, I heard it, the longing to be remembered for herself, not her outfit. What often happens with loud prints is that they distract rather than highlight. Our face, our expression, our posture, the things that truly speak, get drowned in fabric noise. Especially after 60, when softness in color and line brings out the natural glow we still carry, quieter designs often serve us better. Instead of overwhelming florals or dated geometric chaos, try soft patterns, watercolor-inspired prints, tone-on-tone textures, or single-hue motifs with space to breathe. Prints that let you enter the room first, not your shirt. I've personally shifted from the high-contrast prints I used to love in my 40s, magenta swirls and paisley madness, to subtle details like shadow florals in dusty lavender or ivory on cream leaves. They don't compete with me. They complement me. Let your outfit whisper your grace, not drown it in noise. Now, let's talk about a color we've all leaned on, thinking it keeps us safe. But sometimes, it quietly steals our light. When you look at your wardrobe, which print feels more you? Which one feels like it's still speaking too loudly? Tell me below. I'm listening. 3. When black feels too heavy. Do you remember a time you put on a black outfit, not because it made you feel radiant, but because it felt like the only thing that didn't ask too many questions? That used to be me. And I know I'm not alone. Black is safe. It's practical. It hides things we don't want seen. It's the color we reach for when we're not in the mood to explain ourselves. But over time, I realized it was also the color I wore when I didn't want to be noticed at all. A few months ago, I visited my cousin Linda in Spokane. She's 71 now, a retired midwife with silver curls and the softest blue eyes. We were having tea on her porch, sunshine, birdsong, a perfect spring afternoon. But she came out wearing a heavy black cardigan over a long black tunic and thick black leggings. Everything about her look said comfort, but none of it matched the light in her garden or the woman I knew her to be. I remember looking at her and thinking, where did she go? Not Linda herself, but her presence, her softness, her spark. She looked almost swallowed up by all that darkness. We talked, like we always do, about life and bodies and memories that shift shape over time. She admitted something I've heard many women over 60 whisper. I wear black because it's just easier. Nothing else feels right anymore. That sentence settled in my chest, because I used to say the same thing. But here's the hard truth I had to learn. Black may feel easy, but sometimes it makes us invisible. And when our bodies begin to soften, when cheeks lose their natural flush and hair turns silver, black can be harsh. It absorbs light, it deepens every shadow, and it can make us look older, even when we're full of life inside. It's not about giving up black forever. I still own black trousers. I love a little black dress for evening. But now, I think differently. I balance it. If I wear black pants, I pair them with a warm blush blouse or a soft gray knit. I add pearl earrings, a scarf in soft blue, a taupe shoe. These small touches lift everything. Color, at our age, is more than decoration. It's medicine. Light, warmth, softness. These are things that bring our reflection back to life. We deserve to glow, not dim. And sometimes, all it takes is swapping a black turtleneck for an ivory V-neck to see the woman we still are, underneath the layers. And yes, sometimes that means facing our own habits. I used to wear black every day. Out of habit, out of fear, out of that old idea that elegance means restraint. But I've learned elegance isn't hiding, it's choosing. Here's something I believe with all my heart. You don't have to disappear just because you've aged. Let your colors speak when words feel small. So tomorrow, if your hands reach for another black top, pause, hold it up, and then try holding up something in dusty rose or warm camel or soft sky blue. See how your face changes in the mirror. Not because you're chasing youth, but because you're choosing to step into the light again. Now, let's move gently into the next part, where something as simple as a pair of pants can either weigh us down or quietly lift us up. Tell me, when was the last time you looked in the mirror wearing all black and saw yourself looking back with warmth? 4. Pants that steal your posture. Is there a pair of pants in your closet you keep wearing even though they just don't feel right anymore? You tug at the waistband. You pull at the hem. You sit down and suddenly you're adjusting everything. I've had that pair. You probably have too. They used to fit. They used to feel like you. But over time, quietly, without notice, they began stealing more than your shape. They started stealing your presence. I remember running into my old neighbor, Janice, at the community co-op last fall. She's 66 now, still does her own gardening, still drives the same beat-up pickup she's had since '92. That day, she wore these wide, slouchy jeans, the kind with elastic waist and extra room for comfort. But as we talked, I watched her keep adjusting them. The waistband was riding high, the legs were bunching at her ankles, and every few minutes she pulled down her shirt to cover the bulge they created. And yet, Janice is beautiful. Strong posture, bright eyes. But those pants were doing her no favors. They made her look tired, smaller than she is, as if her frame was giving up on holding her. That's the silent effect of poorly fitted pants. They pull us down, not just physically, but emotionally. And many of us don't notice because we're taught to value comfort above all after a certain age. But comfort shouldn't mean compromise. The truth is, some pants aren't built for the body you have today. They were cut for your 30s, or worse, they were never really designed to support a real evolving body at all. Baggy, unstructured trousers, heavy denim with no give, stiff fabrics that crease around the knees. They sap your confidence the moment you leave the house. And yet, a well-chosen pair can do the exact opposite. The right pants help you stand taller, move easier, even breathe deeper. They say quietly, "Yes, this is my shape, and I respect it." Now, I personally love a pair of straight leg stretch trousers, flat front with just enough taper at the ankle to elongate the leg. I have them in soft gray and navy. They hold their form but move with me. No clinging, no pinching, no sliding down by lunchtime. I also keep a few pull-on ponte pants for days when my joints ache and I just need ease. But even those are tailored. Clean seams, no bulk. And here's something simple that makes a world of difference. Hemming. Too many women wear pants that bunch around their shoes or drag slightly behind them. I used to think no one noticed, but once I had my trousers shortened by just an inch, I noticed. I looked sharper, more alive. It was like seeing myself in a frame that finally fit, because that's what the right pair of pants does. It doesn't change who you are, it honors her. A woman doesn't need perfect legs to stand tall, she just needs pants that don't ask her to shrink. If the pants you wear make you feel heavier, sloppier, or unsure, it's time to choose again. You deserve ease and elegance, structure and softness. Next, let's talk about something just as overlooked, but even more transformative. The shoes that carry your story forward. What's the last pair of pants you wore that made you feel truly comfortable, body and soul? I'd love to hear. 5. Shoes that silence you. Do you remember the first pair of shoes that made you feel unstoppable? Maybe they weren't high heels. Maybe they were soft leather loafers, a little scuffed, but worn during the most alive years of your life. I still remember mine. Deep burgundy flats with a tiny gold buckle. I wore them the first time I went dancing after my divorce. They didn't just carry me, they lifted me. But lately, too many of us are wearing shoes that quiet us, and not in the peaceful way. A few weeks ago at the Senior Center's book swap, I noticed Eleanor, 82, sharp as a tack, always reading something brilliant. She was wearing those thick orthopedic sneakers, gray, bulky, almost moon boot-like. I knew why, of course. Bad knees, a fall last year. Comfort comes first. But as she walked, her feet seemed to lead her. Not confidently, but cautiously. Each step looked like a whisper, not a statement. That's what the wrong shoes can do. They mute your presence. Not because of their comfort, but because they don't respect your form. Shoes that are too heavy, too wide, or too medical looking can weigh down your posture, shorten your line, and quietly say, "Don't look at me. I'm just getting through." But my dear, you're not here to just get through. Here's the secret no one tells you. You can have both comfort and beauty. These days, I rely on soft, arch-supporting flats with almond-shaped toes. They cradle my feet gently and still look like something I chose, not something I was forced into. On weekends, I wear slip-on sneakers with memory foam soles, sleek, simple, but supportive. I even found a block-heeled sandal that I can wear for hours when I want to dress up, thanks to a cushioned footbed and a sturdy ankle strap. It's not about choosing between comfort or confidence. It's about insisting on both. When I wear shoes that fit me, not just my size, but my pace, my softness, my energy, I don't shuffle. I walk. I show up. That small lift under my heel reminds me, I'm not invisible. My steps matter. And for the record, you don't need 10 pairs. You need 3 good ones. One for movement, one for presence, and one for joy. A woman's walk tells the story of how she feels in her life. Make sure your shoes help you speak. Next, we'll talk about something even more intimate than your steps. The way your neckline frames your face, your voice, and your presence. What's your favorite pair of shoes? And why do you love them? Tell me below. I'd truly love to know. 6. Dressing to be remembered, not rescued. Do you know what no one tells you about getting older? That one day, without even realizing it, you stop dressing to be noticed and start dressing just to avoid drawing attention. It's subtle. One day, you're picking colors that don't stand out too much. The next, you're choosing outfits based on how invisible they make you feel in the grocery store aisle. But deep down, something aches. Not for youth, for recognition. I remember running into Evelyn, an old friend from the library board, at the farmer's market one Saturday. She was wearing this soft cranberry blouse with a delicate gold chain and flat leather mules. Nothing flashy. But everything about her said, I still care how I show up. She smiled at the flower vendor, leaned into conversation. She wasn't trying to look young. She was fully herself. Present. Elegant in that quiet way that turns heads without even trying. And I'll be honest, I stood there in my baggy hoodie and 2 long pants and thought, When did I stop dressing like I matter? I used to choose what I wore with such thought. A scarf that brought out the color in my eyes, earrings from a summer trip to Santa Fe. I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I was reminding myself who I was. And somewhere along the way, I started dressing like I didn't want to be seen. Let's be clear. Dressing to be remembered doesn't mean chasing compliments. It means choosing pieces that carry a little bit of you in them. Your memories, your mood, your message. A wrap blouse that says you still stand tall. A soft pastel that lights your face. A pair of shoes that let you move through the world with both grace and comfort. One client of mine, Celeste, 72, told me she used to avoid all color after losing her husband. She said, "It felt too loud, like I didn't deserve to be seen." But one day, she tried on a deep teal cardigan just for fun. And when she wore it to brunch, her granddaughter said, "Grandma, you look happy. Not younger, not slimmer, just happy." That changed everything. Sometimes we think dressing up is for weddings, parties, or Sunday service. But what about Tuesday morning? What about picking up bread or meeting a friend for tea? Don't those moments deserve your presence too? There's nothing wrong with comfort. But let's not confuse hiding with healing. Let's not shrink ourselves in the name of aging gracefully. You don't have to dress like you're fading when there's still so much light in you. The next time you stand in front of your closet, I want you to ask one thing. If I met myself today, would I recognize the woman in this? Because that's what dressing to be remembered is about. It's not for them, it's for you. Now, before we move into our final reflections, tell me this, my dear. When was the last time someone remembered your outfit, not because it was trendy, but because it felt like you? Share that memory below. I'd love to hear it. And so would someone else who might need that reminder today. When was the last time you looked in the mirror and genuinely smiled at the woman looking back? Not because your makeup was perfect, not because the outfit matched, but because in that quiet moment, you recognized her again. Today, we talked about 6 common choices that may be aging you more than you know. But this isn't about chasing youth. It's about returning to a version of yourself that feels honest, beautiful, and quietly radiant. A version that still exists, even if she's been tucked behind long sleeves, dark tones, or shoes that no longer carry her joy. The right outfit won't turn back time, but it can turn you back toward yourself. The part that still wants to feel light, graceful, remembered. You don't need a brand new wardrobe. You need a shift in intention. Choose 1 or 2 pieces that feel like you, not younger you, just true you. Try them on in front of the mirror, not to hide your age, but to live in it fully. A blouse that softens your lines. A color that brightens your eyes. Dress not to impress, dress to express, to return. Tonight, I want you to choose one outfit, just one. You'll wear tomorrow, not for errands, not for someone else, but for you. Maybe it's been waiting quietly in the back of your closet. Or maybe it's something simple and soft and new. Wear it while you make tea, while you journal, while you remember yourself. I've always believed when we dress with care for ourselves, the world softens in return. Like a warm cup of tea, like a smile from the inside out. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one small change you're ready to try in your wardrobe this week? Let's remind each other, it's never too late to feel more you again.